All right, here we're going to take a look at the second worksheet. All right, so let's bring that up. And we need to find out first about the various membranes. Um, Now, I realize the PowerPoints and the book are a little bit different. Like in the worksheet 3, I think they had compacted um, uh, broken bone, compacted, and compacted wasn't really in the book, and that's because compacted really means crushed, like it's powder. There's way more than a few pieces. There are a lot of pieces, and I think when I did number 3 worksheet, I just said, well, it's the same as the cracked one, whichever one it was. Um, Impacted. But technically, that one would be pretty much completely crushed. I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. Crushed means uh, you're no use trying to save it. Maybe you could think of it that way. So just as there's some differences between the book and the PowerPoints. Um, they are a little different. Don't go to the book unless you don't understand something in the PowerPoints. There's something that needs more you need more detail about, or you want some additional pictures, that's when you go to the book. Try to stick to the PowerPoints because that's where I'm actually getting the questions. Other places are here on the worksheets, and I'm trying to do the worksheets using the book. It's not perfect because the worksheets don't go with the PowerPoints or the book. To tell you the truth, they are completely separate from someplace else. So it's kind of hard to go and find everything exactly in the right order and where it's all put together at the same place. These things are all over the place. So let me start though with the membranes here on worksheet 2. And the first thing is we've got serous membranes. All right, so serous, and I have it here. Realize these are the kind of membranes that cover the cavities, and that would essentially what you would talk about. They cover the various cavities wherever you have a cavity, which could be many places. You can just say that, and large portions of the body. Now, what are the tissues? It's as a general rule, it's a sheath, so it's a connective tissue. Let's see, do we actually say here? Um, I don't believe they actually state that. They might do it in the PowerPoints, but you would. I'm not going to be real picky upon that if you need to get the layers or whatever. It's a membrane, it's a sac, or it's a covering that's going to be a membrane to kind of protect, like putting shrink wrap on a package, or in this case, a lining of a cavity. All right. So special features. Oops. Let's go back here. Um, the special features are listed usually in the PowerPoints, so you can go get the exact ones there. But let's read here and see what we see about the special features of the serous membrane. Uh, so they are. I will tell you one here that I'm aware of. They have selective permeability. That's something you don't hear about a lot, but they let some things through and other things not. Some of them are designed to make for sure that maybe they're surrounding your brain. They have different features than the others, and so they have slightly different things. And what they let through is selective. In other words, they have the ability to select what types of chemicals, what types of proteins that can get into the cavity or out. So you could use that one, that's fine. That is probably not one listed in the PowerPoints, but it was certainly one that if you found it on the internet or you found it here, I would accept that one. So if you put something kind of a little different. Let me find it. So that's the serous membrane. Let's talk about uh, the the synovial here. The synovial, of course, are in joints. So let's type that in down here. So synovial. Of course, these are going to be membranes that contain like sacs. Okay, they're epithelial. All right, so and they're going to, of course, they're connective tissue. Almost all of these membranes are connective tissue. But what are they going to do? That the actually, here's a really good picture. Maybe this is where you can get most of your answers. This is where the mucous membranes, the serous, cutaneous, and the synovial. So membranes that line the joints and cavities and produce a fluid. All right, so there's your kind of special feature here. Membrane are the skin and covers the body. The serous members line the body cavities, which we talked about, and the mucous membrane line the digestive system, the urinary tract, and they're coated with secretions. So they have mucus glands. That would be their like special ability, if you want to say it that way. So you could use this picture. Here's a case where the book works really well, and you can use the book here to answer these. Now, 5 different functions. Now that's right out of the PowerPoints, so I should switch back to the PowerPoints where they give you all those 5 functions of the integumentary. Physical protection. Let's see. Trying to just off the top of my head, general things that you think of the skin is doing. They protect against pathogens. Let's see. So let me go back and let me actually look for the PowerPoints on this, because that one is just right there, right in front of you. Body membranes. They talk about these in the PowerPoints, but here are the general functions. So thermoregulation, production of vitamin D, chemical pathogen entry, sensation. All of these are the ones you're looking for there. So that's a case. One I'm showing you is one case it was easier to go and find it in the book, and the other case it was easier to go and find this answer in the PowerPoints. So now we're on to number 3. Functions of melanocytes and keratinocytes, and the Langerhans cells in our epidermis. I think this one probably works equally well in the book or in the PowerPoints. So let's go to the PowerPoints. The thing is, there are 2 sets of PowerPoints. Is this the correct set of PowerPoints? Yeah, so melanocytes are pigments. Here we go. We have something that you can use right here in this slide for for the functions of these cells, along with the Langerhans cells in our epidermis. So melanocytes and keratinocytes, and what they're calling the Langerhans cells. And they are right here. So 4 distinct cell types arranged to 4 or 5 distinct layers. All right, so structure, pigments, sensation at the Merkel cells, and immune system of the Langerhans cells. All right, so let's see. Here you can read about keratinocytes. So if they're asking you, for instance, here, what are their functions? They are, for deepest, they eventually dominate where they have reached the upper layer and scale like bags of keratin. So realize the actual function here is structure, physical support, that sort of thing. They might have some other functions, but that would be the general one. The structure, protection, structure. Melanocytes, of course, produce pigments. So if you see melanocytes, that's more of a pigment production, which is a type of protection from like radiation, UV radiation and stuff. That would be exactly how you would say that. Let's see, what else do we have? And then the Langerhans cells are immune related, so they are protect you against pathogens. So now we go on here to the glands. All right, so the glands, you can again go to either of the book or the PowerPoints. Like I said, some things are better than others. This particular set of PowerPoints doesn't go into the glands. I need to find the other set of PowerPoints for the integumentary system. So let's see if we can find glands here. Here we go. Sebaceous glands, for instance. We'll come and look. And here are sebaceous, so location, what do they produce, and their special features. And probably this is better to go with the PowerPoints on the answers on this one. So here we go. Where are they located? All right, let's see. What do they secrete? They lubricate the skin, decrease the permeability of water. All right, some antibacterial. That's what bactericidal is. They produce something that the bacteria aren't going to like. Let's see. Oily, except to the palms. So alveolar glands do the ducts. Let's see. Hair, nails. But they wanted to know the location and the sebaceous glands are empties into the hair follicles, so you might find them near hair follicles, something like that. That's one thing you could say. Maybe not the best answer, but certainly give you credit for something like that. Sebaceous American Meracrine. Let's see. They don't ask you. Yeah, they do. Eccrine. So you have those. So let's go ahead and see which. They're the next one in this list. They're the sweat glands, all right, and thermoregulation. You know, that tells you everything you need to know. I don't think there's much more. The product produced, sweat, moisture, however you want to say it. Let's see. Then there's apocrine, and I'm not sure we're going to have. Let's see, apocrine. These are like larger than sweat glands, and it's a different type of sweat. Contains more fat. It's antibacterial, foul odors, can also be produced. This would be the one that would run off your Demodex, the apocrine. And they are the ones also that have things in them that the bacteria at times might like to eat and might give you smells, more of it. You don't make those smells a lot when you're younger because you don't produce them until puberty. They also have pheromones, which are hormones that are released into the air that are signals, usually sexual in nature. So humans do have those. Those are not just in, like you normally think of it in cats and dogs and things like that, but humans release these pheromones as well. Now the last one, the apocrine glands, are found in the inner lining of the ear, and they're of course the ones that produce wax. And what do? They keep your ear dry, for one thing. They also produce this wax pushes out the dead skin, so they keep your air clean. All right, is a better way to say it. They keep out the bad guys, and they push out the dead skin and water. They also protect from water. All right, so I think we got all of those. Which layer of the epidermis produces new cells? Now we already saw that, and I think that was in the other set of PowerPoints. I don't think it was at the beginning of this. It was at the beginning of the other set. So let me go and find that. So I thought it was early. But maybe I am wrong. New cells are continuously made at the deepest layer. Move further from there, they make keratin eventually dominates their cell content. Alright, so new cells are continuously made. That's a hint that to son of our hour, which layer produces new cells, and what layer of epidermis produces from water loss and water entry. So we need to find that, and I remember us going through that exactly in here. Let's see if we can find this. Of course, which one is going to protect us from ultraviolet light? Melanocytes, the ones that, of course, produce pigment. So don't forget that. Firmly attached. Stratum cells are highly dividing. So this is something worth noting. The stratum basal, that's where they're highly mitotic. That means they're dividing. So yes, it's a certain layer, but this is the one where you're actually dividing it. Now, it says which layer of the epidermis produces new cells. I'd probably give it to you if you gave me some. There are several things you could give me, but this is probably the best answer. All right. Let's see. What were we looking for? I actually forgot. Which layer protects us from water loss? Yes. All right. Waterproofing agent right here. The stratum granulosum. So waterproofing. All right. So that's in easy to get that one. All right. So let's go on. Oh, that's it. This is a short one. So you shouldn't have any problem doing this one. Very straightforward. And 2. Number 3, not as straightforward. Number 1, of course, was difficult because they're all those planes and stuff. And actually, of the worksheets, there are, I'll tell you right now, on the worksheets from the exam, things like this, which is the waterproofing one, the stratum granulosum, okay? So I would definitely know that. All right, if you've watched this video, I'm telling you right now, there's a question on exactly this. It asks just that. So there's a question, there's a point you can get by just watching this video. As for the other parts in the worksheet, all right, you need to know each type of gland, kind of what it does. All right, so sweat glands, that sort of thing. Know all the glands. There'll be something on each gland, one side. You need to know the difference between these types of cells, melanocytes, keratinocytes, and perhaps the Langerhans. 5 different functions of the integumentary system. Yes, you do need to know that. And you need to know the membrane types. It's good to know the order, all right? Deeper to, like, under the skin to the surface. That would be a good thing to know on the exam, is to know the order of these membranes, or not membranes, I'm sorry, I was thinking skin layers. Know the layers of the skin. That's what I wanted to tell you. The membranes, of course, are in different places. I'm sorry. So the membranes, of course, know the location of each of these, where you might find these. All right, and also then in skin, know the layers of the skin and what comes on top of each other and where you might find these glands. Those are all things you should know about the skin. So you have these glands, know where they're located, and know like that layer, so you know that these have layers. Know what layer you're going to find them, and know what the deeper layers are versus the shallower layers. And that'll give you a few hints there. Know the water loss one. I know that's a question, all right? And as far as also know about the wax in the ears, that also protects against water loss, and it also pushes the skin out. So know those functions. All right.